I think one of the great things about homeschooling is that we have a unique opportunity to teach our kids more skills that will help them succeed as adults, when they are leaving our homes. So today I wanted to talk to you about a couple of courses we have done from Ramsey Education that I feel have helped prepare my kids for that next step in life. Hey guys, and welcome back to my Practically Imperfect Life. If you've checked out my channel before, you know that I'm a homeschooling mom and I have two students who are high schoolers this year. I have a sophomore and a freshman. Now, back in middle school, I started to think about the importance of teaching them about money and how to manage it, how to, make smart decisions with the end goal being that once they leave my home, they don't find themselves falling into those pitfalls of debt and credit cards and student loans and things like that that caused me a lot of headaches when I was in my 20s. And it just took me far too long to kind of dig myself out of that. So I wanted them to basically have the information and the tools that they needed to make some smart decisions. So when my kids were in middle school, I got them each set up with a savings account at our bank, the same bank that I use. And I started to encourage them to put money back each time they received it, whether that was from chores or Christmas gifts and things like that. And then once they hit high school, I took them each to get a debit card and set up a checking account as well. So they each have a checking and a savings account. And it's really nice at our bank. I can see their accounts just right there on the mobile app. They have access to the mobile app so they can track each of their accounts. They can do transfers of money from checking to savings. And I really like that it does not allow them to overdraft. So it will decline a transaction if they're going to overspend. But I felt like that was kind of the first step to teaching them to manage their own money. But I wanted definitely to go further with all of this. And that is where Ramsey Homeschool Education came in. You've probably heard the name Dave Ramsey. He's kind of the master of the baby steps. And whether or not you agree with all of the principles that he teaches, you can't deny that he is very good at explaining money management and debt and how to make smart decisions. And he does it in a really simple way. So when I found out that he had homeschool courses, I was instantly intrigued. So all of the courses that I'm going to talk about today are ones that both of my students have completed. Now, the first one is Foundations in Personal Finance for Homeschooling High Schoolers. And they do have an edition that's meant to be taught in classrooms, but this edition is specific for homeschoolers. And I actually had each of my kids do this course in the 8th grade. Again, I wanted them to start to have some of those foundational basics and learn a little bit more about managing money before they were old enough to get jobs and started having, a regular income kind of flowing in. So the personal finance course is a digital course. When you make a purchase, you get a code that allows your student to access the site, and you have 1 year of access to that course. You can take as much time or as little time as you'd like to complete it. We simply taught it by giving the kids kind of a set amount of time to spend on it 3 days a week. So we started off, I said 20 minutes, 3 days a week, get as far as you can, your progress auto saves, and then jump back into it the next day that it's assigned. And it took both of my kids roughly 3/4 of the school year to get through the course, working on it at that speed. If you wanted to make this a 1-semester course, you could certainly have them work on it every day. If you wanted to spread it out longer, you could simply make the amount of time they spend on it different or have them do it 1 day a week. It is totally up to you. And that is a really nice feature, the fact that it is self-paced and so easy to customize. A couple of other nice features is that this is very mobile friendly. Students can access it from any kind of device. We've used desktops, we've used laptops, we've used iPads, many different ways to get onto the course and continue progressing through the work. You can even have them pull it up on their phone if you're traveling and you still want them to do the assignments. I also really like that it does include assessments, and those are auto-graded. So I can log in, I can see how they did on an assessment, and it basically gives me a grade. So I really just had to look at how they were doing on the course and then pop that grade on their transcripts as a high school credit. Now, I did go ahead and credit this as a 1-semester course in personal finance. And again, you could decide how it is that you would like to credit this if you're going to use it as a high school credit. The course itself includes 13 chapters of information that it breaks down for your student to do. Now, this isn't a complete list of everything that's covered, but some of the key topics that they'll learn about is budgeting, saving, credit versus debit, investing, retirement, the importance of insurance, how income and taxes work. I mean, these are all things that we know are not regularly covered in public schools, but these are things that people need to know to be able to function as adults. We just really liked all of the information that was provided. Even if we don't follow everything exactly as it is taught, it gave my kids a lot of good knowledge to pull from going forward. My daughter's actually called me out a couple of times when she'd see me whip out a credit card and she'd go, well, Dave Ramsey says. and so I feel like she did absorb that information. She really did learn, why you should try to avoid, building up credit card debt and things like that. And so I'm just really glad that they got these, foundational basics about finance to, help guide them as they start to enter adulthood. So that is what we did for their 8th grade year. Now, when each of them became freshmen, I did purchase a bundle of 2 courses, and I called that class on their transcript College and Career Readiness. Now, you could purchase these 2 courses separately, or you could get a discounted rate if you purchase them as a bundle. Each of the courses is significantly shorter than the personal finance course. So I found that it took them about a semester to complete each of those. And that's, again, with us only working on it 2 to 3 days a week for about 20 minutes at a time. So the first of the 2 courses in this bundle is called Foundations in College Prep. And the real focus of that course is to help teach your kids how they can go to college without incurring massive amounts of debt, or even go to college completely debt-free. The course is broken up into 4 parts, with the first part being a focus on, why a debt-free degree is important. There's discussion about the danger of student loans, the reality of paying back those student loans, and the student loan debt crisis that our country is in. I mean, we've all heard about it in the news a lot in the last couple of years. It also teaches them how to have realistic expectations, understanding what it is that they can truly afford and making smart decisions as far as where they want to go to school or what type of school it is that they want to go to. Part 2 of the course is all about considering your options. What's the difference between community college and a 4-year college? What's the difference between a university and a college? What are majors and minors, and why are choosing them important? And then looking at the total cost of living associated with college, because we know it doesn't stop at tuition. We've got books, we've got supplies, we've got room and board, or your off-campus living expenses that you need to consider when you're choosing a college. Then for those who might not think that they're going to be college bound, or those who haven't really considered an option or an alternative to college, it talks about vocational training, trade school, going through the military, starting your own business, on-the-job training, different options that students may not have thought of. I know when I was in high school, the push was college, 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 college. Everybody needed to go to college. And we've definitely heard a lot of information come out now about the importance of encouraging people to look at trade schools and vocational programs and the need for individuals in these fields, as well as how well those jobs pay. And so this gets your student thinking about, well, maybe there's another option for me, other than just following like the traditional 4-year college path. And so it does give a lot of good information about those types of programs as well. Part 3 is all about how we actually pay for college. So you get introduced to the FAFSA, financial aid, work study programs, grants, scholarships, internships, all these different ways that you can actually fund your college education. And then part 4 talks about the 6 steps that they recommend for going to college debt-free. All in all, I felt like this course was just a really good thing to have my students take as freshmen. And you might think maybe that's a little bit early because we're not quite at the stage of applying for college. But I think when you have to look at, the importance of grades and scholarships and things like that, when you're thinking about college, you can never start too early. I think it's important for students to understand the importance of working hard in their classes from the beginning of high school instead of scrambling once they're juniors and seniors to try to qualify for some of this grant and scholarship money that might be out there. So I wanted my kids to have kind of that eye-opener early in their high school career. So as we went through the high school years, they kind of kept that in mind that, if they have a dream college they want to go to or a specific place they want to study, they are going to have to do their portion of the work for us to make that happen. The second part of this bundle was called Foundations in Career Readiness, and it's primarily taught by Ken Coleman, who is kind of known as like America's career coach. He's a best-selling author, and he's helping the kids kind of determine where their talents lie, what are their passions, what would their dream job be. But it doesn't just focus on determining kind of your long-term career. It also teaches a lot about how you even go about getting your first job and how you can be successful in that job and in future jobs. So just like the other two courses that I mentioned, this is all digital. It is self-paced. It has self-graded assessments, so you can easily grade it. Now, this course is also divided up into 4 parts. So part 1 is all about self-discovery. What is it your kids do best? What is it they love to do? What are they passionate about? What kind of things matter to them in a career? And helping them to start to identify what their dream job or profession might be in the future. So the second part of this course really caught me by surprise the first time I went through it with my daughter. It teaches about what's called the proximity principle. The whole idea that when you have the right people in the right places, you get more opportunities. So essentially, it's teaching them all about networking, which was something that I wasn't really expecting in the course, but I'm really glad that they included. It teaches you the importance of making connections with people, building relationships, essentially networking. How do you kind of brand yourself so that way employers will want you? How do you use your first jobs as kind of a stepping stone or as a jump to the next great opportunity? What are internships and how do you get them? It was just a lot of good information that I wasn't expecting the course to have. The third part of the course was called Winning and Interviewing, and this is where they learn resume writing, how to craft a cover letter, how to actually prepare for an interview and do well in an interview, and how to appropriately follow up after an interview. I think this was just a great thing for my kids to go through prior to applying for their first jobs. I mean, what is more impressive than having a well-crafted resume when you step in to a business to apply for your first job or when you go to move on to the next job after that? And I know that both of my kids said that like the interviewing portion of things was what made them the most nervous, to have to actually sit down and answer questions and answer them appropriately. And I felt like this gave them an idea on what kind of things they can expect and how they can best prepare for that. The last part of this course covered getting that dream job. So really looking ahead to like their long-term professions and careers. How do you prepare to pursue a career? What are mentorships and why are they important? What is the importance of entrepreneurship? Learning from your failures and then staying motivated as you go through this process. That especially I think is important in this generation because we have kind of been trained to have that instant gratification, to want what we want right away and to think that we're going to get that dream job the minute we graduate from college. And it's understanding that that doesn't always happen. Sometimes you have to really build and grow and step from one job to another until you reach that dream job. And how do you take those steps and stay motivated, kind of knowing what your long-term dreams are? So all in all, I have to say that I really enjoyed these courses and I'm glad that we chose to do them with both of my kids. I felt like they enjoyed them. They seemed to work through the courses pretty regularly. And a lot of times they would let videos go on longer than the 20 minutes because they didn't want to interrupt what they were learning about. I really appreciated that all the assessments were self-graded, so it was easy for me to track their progress and get a grade to transfer onto their transcript. And the information really just stuck. I mean, they both learned a lot, and I can tell from things that they've said and ways that they've gone about things that they are taking that information to heart. And I just hope that that continues as they start their first jobs and as we get closer and closer to college for my oldest. It's just been a wonderful experience for us. So let's talk costs, because I know that's a factor for a lot of people. Now, when you go to the website, you'll see what they mark these at regular price, but I've never seen them not on sale. And in fact, if you sign up for their email listing, you can actually get notified when they have super sales, which is how I got the personal finance course. I think I only paid $20 for the personal finance course during a super sale. Those typically seem to happen in the spring, but then you can just save that access code and wait until the start of your next school year, access it, and then be able to do the course for over the course of a year. So the regular price for the Foundations in Personal Finance says that it's $89.99, so $90, but it's currently showing on sale for $49.99. Again, watch for the sales because they usually will have some really good deals, and then you can get that course for even less. So that gives you access for one student for 1 year, and then it says it's $30 if you want to have a second student do it at the same time. The Foundation in Career Readiness and the college prep courses each say that they're also $90 regular price, but they both also show that they are on sale for a far discounted rate. Or you can purchase a bundle of the two courses together for $29.99, which is what I did. That's what I paid for each of my kids to do it. Worth every penny. I mean, the information, it's all digital, it's all online. There's high quality videos, there's readings for them to do, case studies, self-graded assessments. There are extended learning tools. So if you want to take a lesson further, you have access to that. As a teacher, I can easily get on and see their progress. The kids have never had any issues with the website and how it functions, and everything about it's just been great overall. So highly worth the money, but I do recommend, like I said, that you get on their email listing so you can watch for sales to come up and be able to grab the best deal on these programs. So you may ask if I am going to circle back and review financial information with my kids again. And yes, I am planning on it. Again, we did the personal finance course back in 8th grade, and I want to do something to help them kind of review concepts again prior to graduation. Now, next week, I'm actually going to be releasing a video where I got a chance to review a new curriculum from Guest Hollow. It's a combination course of government, econ, and personal finance. And I do plan to have my daughter do that next year as a junior, although it's probably one of those courses that would be great for junior or senior year. And it does have a huge component teaching about personal finance. So I felt like that would be a good opportunity for her to kind of review these principles again prior to her graduation and, hopefully kind of freshen things up in her mind a bit. As I mentioned earlier, I will go ahead and I will link all of these courses down below in the description box for you so you can check them out and determine if these courses are right for you and your homeschoolers. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so you can be notified when I post new mom life and homeschooling content. Thanks so much, everybody. Happy homeschooling.